Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this toy showcase we're going to have a look at the 1992 Autobot Flash. As you can see on the card in the background, and you may already know, he was one of the Turbomasters. There were 4 of these released, and as I say, this just made it into Generation 1 just before they started Generation 2. So let's have a look at the figure then. The figure itself, you can tell is going to be a sports car in assault mode. It's actually a heavily modified Lamborghini Diablo, which I'll show you a little bit more in a second when I transform him. So the figure itself, very bright colours. That seemed to be the theme with the Turbomasters. You've got a couple of yellow missiles that fit on the side, and you've got the firing missile launcher, which I'll show you when I transform him into the car mode. The figure itself, it's got the cool gimmick again with the lights for the eyes. So if I shine a torch there, you'll see that the eyes light up nicely there in the background. What we've got as well, if I turn it around, there's a bit more articulation in this guy. You can see at the back that we've got movement there in his shoulder and in his elbow joints. The legs, unfortunately, as I say, no articulation in the knees, just the fold out legs. But otherwise, as I say, quite a cool figure. As I say, nice and bright. Let's have a look at the packaging then quickly while we're here. Now, an interesting thing I've noticed with this is, although this is the Gig, which is the Italian, as I say, brand of the Transformers, they haven't actually changed his name. Flash is the name, as I say, on the English version, and it is also there as well. So the packaging, only real difference is they've made his head look nice and round, but obviously the sculpt isn't round at all. And unfortunately, again, with the later Transformers carded figures released, there wasn't really much on the back. No impressive battle scenes to see, just the transformation, which you can see is quite basic, and you can tell you just fold the legs over and fold the arms in, which I'm going to do now. So we'll come back and we'll have him in car mode. Right then, here we are. We've transformed him into his alternate mode, and as I said, it is a Lamborghini Diablo sports car, and you can see I've mounted what is his weapon onto the back. This figure, as I say, was a European exclusive. It did also come out in Japan, but as part of a box set. They weren't ever released in America, and as I say, they didn't pass safety standards because of this firing missile. I can't confirm if that's 100% the whole reason why they weren't released over there. They could have perhaps obviously not had the firing missile, just had another thing instead. But if you see why, these do have quite a bit of a kick on it. I'm going to press it and, oh, there you go, fired straight off and back. A lot of venom in that, so that could have been the reasons, but I know they didn't pass the US safety standards because they were a bit too small. So going back to the card, the cool thing about this card I just wanted to point out rather is that it hasn't been punched, so this is never made it out into the shop floor, which again for collectors is a nice little bonus. The other good thing about this though, unlike Boss, where I'd mentioned that if he didn't have his weapon, then it wouldn't be worth buying him to display in his alt mode because he had a huge hole in his bonnet. With Flash, the weapon just mounts, as I say, on the roof. So if you did manage to acquire one and it didn't have his weapons, it's not really the end of the world. You could still display him and he'd look all right. Again, if I have a quick look at it, you can see how basic the transformation was. We folded the legs in and then we folded the arms in there. But otherwise, as I say, he's a cool car. He's quite rare, obviously, because he didn't come out as a worldwide release, but it's one to look out for. One of the Turbomasters. We've already done Boss, so we've got 2 left to go. Take care and keep your eyes out for the other 2.